Hello and welcome to IEMC Radio and Podcast. Today, January 14th, we're exploring the top news headlines. I've got a lot to cover, so let's jump right in.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's start with international politics. President-elect Trump is looking to meet with Vladimir Putin very soon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right after his inauguration next week. It'll be interesting to see what comes of their first meeting since the Russia-Ukraine war started back in 2022.
Yeah, the timing is certainly noteworthy. This meeting could signal a shift in U.S. foreign policy toward Russia, particularly with the war in Ukraine still ongoing and heavily reliant on U.S. support.
And adding to the intrigue, Trump has stated, he believes the resolution to the conflict is ultimately in Putin's hands. He even commented that the war hasn't been going well for Russia.
That's right. It raises the question of what leverage Trump thinks he has with Putin. Is he going for negotiation, or does he have another strategy in mind? This is a bold move with potential global implications.
Absolutely. Now, in another international headline, Trump has decided not to invite Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to his second-term inauguration.
This is a significant diplomatic snub, considering the historically strong relationship between the U.S. and Israel.
This seems to stem from a video Trump shared on Truth Social, featuring a Columbia University professor who didn't hold back in his criticism of Netanyahu. He used some pretty strong language, calling him a dark son of a bitch and accusing him of pushing the U.S. into war with Iran.
Sharing that video publicly could certainly be seen as Trump endorsing those views. It's a clear indication of a strained relationship, and it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds during Trump's presidency. And of course, Netanyahu has since canceled his plans to attend the inauguration.
Turning to U.S. politics, the Justice Department has just released Special Counsel Jack Smith's report detailing Trump's attempts to overturn the 2020 election results. This report adds to what we already know from the congressional panel and other investigations, which concluded that Trump spread false claims of voter fraud and pressured officials to change the outcome.
This report is the culmination of years of investigations and legal battles, and it delves into some serious accusations outlining Trump's alleged conspiracy to obstruct vote certification and his retention of classified documents after leaving office. These accusations strike at the core of American democracy. The peaceful transfer of power is fundamental to the U.S. system, and any attempt to undermine that is a serious matter.
Trump has pleaded not guilty to all charges and insists the investigations are politically motivated. This sets the stage for a potentially contentious legal battle that could further divide public opinion.
Indeed. And speaking of legal battles, Trump's former lawyer Michael Cohen has appealed to outgoing President Joe Biden for a pardon. He's worried about retribution from Trump for testifying against him in the hush money conviction.
Cohen argues he deserves a pardon just like Hunter Biden received, pointing to his 51 days in solitary confinement. He also expressed surprise that Trump was unconditionally released during sentencing.
It's interesting that Cohen is drawing a parallel between himself and Hunter Biden. It highlights the intricacies of the legal system and the power of presidential pardons.
Shifting gears to news from Nigeria, the government has confirmed an outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza, or bird flu, in Kano State.
This outbreak affects various bird species and carries a high risk of spreading further. Authorities are urging strict biosecurity protocols, public education, and close monitoring to contain the situation. This highlights how crucial proactive measures are in managing public health crises, especially those with the potential to spread rapidly.
The outbreak originated from a duck bought at a market and then introduced to other poultry, underlining the importance of biosecurity measures.
That detail is significant because it shows how easily a virus can spread through seemingly harmless actions. It underscores the need for vigilance and preventative measures at every level.
In other news from Nigeria, Power Minister Adebayo Adelabu has blamed the nation's ongoing electricity grid collapses on insecurity in the north.
This statement links two major challenges facing Nigeria: energy instability and security threats. The vandalism at the Shiro Kaduna Mando transmission line has left the grid vulnerable, and the unstable security situation hampers repair efforts.
It really shows how interconnected various systems within a country are. When one area like security is compromised, it can have ripple effects on others, like the power grid.
Exactly. And the government is working with security agencies to tackle the vandalism and try to reduce the frequency of these grid collapses.
Now, for a disturbing story out of Nigeria, gospel singer and motivational speaker Timothy Ajayi has been arrested in Nasarawa State for allegedly beheading his girlfriend Salome Adaidu.
This case is incredibly tragic and raises concerns about violence against women in Nigeria.
Ajayi was caught with the severed head in his possession and confessed to the crime. He claims it was self-defense during a fight.
But this case is likely to spark debate about the alarming rate of ritual killings and violence in Nigeria. It's a deeply troubling situation.
Finally, some news from the U.S. veteran actress Daly's Curry, known for her roles in The Blue Brothers and The Ten Commandments, has died in the Los Angeles wildfires.
This is a terrible loss, compounding the devastating impact of these wildfires. It is a stark reminder of the human cost of these disasters and the need for community support in these difficult times.
Her remains were found in her Altadena home after it was destroyed by the flames. Curry's family has confirmed her passing and remembers her as a vibrant person who touched many lives.
These wildfires have tragically claimed at least 24 lives so far. It's a sobering reminder of the destructive power of nature and the importance of being prepared.
So what can we take away from all these headlines? What common threads can we find?
One theme that jumps out is the issue of power in its many forms. We see this playing out in the political arena with Trump's return to the White House and his interactions with leaders like Putin and Netanyahu.
There's definitely a power dynamic at play, with each leader trying to assert their influence and achieve their goals.
We also see these power dynamics within the legal system. Cohen is seeking a pardon from Biden, hoping to navigate the complexities of justice and mercy.
And in Nigeria, the issue of power is intertwined with security concerns. The government's ability to provide basic services like electricity is under threat due to vandalism and instability.
It highlights how crucial security is to a nation's well-being and its ability to function effectively.
Another recurring theme is accountability.
The release of the Justice Department's report on Trump's actions underscores the importance of holding leaders accountable for what they do.
Whether it's through legal proceedings or public scrutiny, pursuing accountability is vital for maintaining trust in institutions and ensuring that justice is served.
And the case of Timothy Ajayi in Nigeria raises the issue of accountability within society. Addressing problems like violence against women requires a collective effort to challenge harmful norms and hold perpetrators responsible.
These headlines also remind us that the past continues to have an impact.
Trump's return to the presidency brings back the political and social divisions that marked his previous term. His actions are still being scrutinized, and the consequences of his decisions are still felt today.
And in Nigeria, the ongoing challenges with security and infrastructure reflect long-standing issues that haven't been fully addressed.
The past never truly disappears. It shapes our present and influences our future.
It's about understanding the historical context of current events and recognizing patterns that repeat themselves.
By understanding the past, we can better navigate the present and make informed decisions about the future.
Let's delve a bit deeper into this idea of the future. What do these headlines tell us about the direction we're headed in?
There's a sense of uncertainty, perhaps even apprehension.
Trump's return to power raises questions about the stability of American democracy and the role of the U.S. on the global stage.
And the challenges facing Nigeria highlight the complexities of development and the need for effective governance.
But even with this uncertainty, there are glimmers of hope.
The ongoing pursuit of accountability, the efforts to tackle public health crises, the resilience of communities facing disasters, these all point to the potential for positive change.
It's about recognizing both the challenges and the opportunities that lie ahead.
Absolutely. Let's focus on a few specific headlines that really stand out. The planned meeting between Trump and Putin is generating a lot of discussion.
What makes this meeting so intriguing is the backdrop of the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war.
And the fact that Trump has repeatedly expressed admiration for Putin. This raises concerns about whether Trump will prioritize U.S. interests or align himself with Putin's agenda.
The outcome of this meeting could have a significant impact on the war in Ukraine and global security as a whole.
It's a high-stakes encounter with the potential to reshape international relations.
Another headline we can't ignore is the Justice Department's report on Trump's attempts to overturn the 2020 election.
This report is a serious indictment of Trump's actions. It details a concerted effort to undermine the democratic process and hold on to power.
The report's findings are likely to further polarize public opinion and intensify calls for accountability.
Indeed. And the case of Timothy Ajayi in Nigeria is a harsh reminder of the dangers of unchecked violence.
This crime has sparked outrage and calls for action to address the issue.
It highlights the need for greater awareness of gender-based violence and for effective measures to protect women. It's a tragic reminder of the human cost of violence and the need for societal change.
So looking at everything, what does it all mean?
These headlines paint a complex picture of a world grappling with numerous challenges.
We're seeing political upheaval, security threats, public health crises, and social divisions.
But amidst the turmoil, there are also signs of resilience, hope, and the pursuit of a better future.
It's vital to stay informed, engaged, and compassionate.
Your understanding of these events is important. It shapes your perspective, your actions, and your role in shaping the world around you.
As we reflect on these headlines, let's consider a few key takeaways.
Firstly, power is a double-edged sword. It can be used for good or for ill. It's essential to hold those in power accountable and to ensure that power is used responsibly.
Secondly, accountability is crucial for a just and equitable society, whether it's holding leaders accountable for their actions or addressing societal issues like violence. The pursuit of accountability is essential.
Thirdly, the past shapes the present and influences the future. Understanding historical context is key to navigating current events and making informed decisions.
Fourth, uncertainty is a constant Turkey. We live in a world where change is inevitable.
It's crucial to be adaptable, resilient, and open to new possibilities.
And finally, individual stories matter. Behind every headline, there are human lives affected.
It's important to remember the human element of these stories and to approach them with empathy and compassion.
As we wrap up our exploration of these headlines, let's consider one final thought.
What is our role in shaping the future? Are we passive observers or active participants?
Do we accept the world as it is, or do we strive to make it better?
These are important questions to ponder as we move forward. The future isn't predetermined, it's something we create together.
It's certainly a lot to think about as we wrap up our discussion on these headlines. What are some final thoughts you want to leave our listener with?
Well, it's clear that we live in a complex and ever-changing world. These headlines highlight just a snapshot of the challenges and opportunities we face.
It can feel overwhelming at times,
Yeah.
but as we've discussed, staying informed and engaged is crucial.
Exactly, and it's important to remember that we all have a role to play in shaping the future, whether it's through our own actions, our engagement in our communities, or simply by staying informed and having these conversations.
So as we conclude our exploration of today's top news, we encourage you, the listener, to continue thinking critically about these events and what they mean for you and the world around you.
Thank you for joining us today on this journey through the headlines.
Thank you for listening to today's top news headlines on IAMC Radio and Podcast.